I feel like we have so many people's like hopes and dreams, especially, Latinos. I feel like we have
Yeah.
so many of their hopes and dreams on our shoulders and we carry it so proudly that, we're ready to take this to the next level.
Listen, I am a huge fan of yours, WWE, all of it. You and Dakota Kai coming together for this podcast is incredible. How did this all come together? I know it's described as Cyberpunk meets Kawaii. Tell me how this show came about.
It was something that her and I just kind of were doing anyway. Whenever we'd hang out, we would be talking about all kinds of stuff. It was gaming stuff, anime stuff. And I was like, I feel like there's other people that can relate to this. So like, why don't we just do a podcast and just see what happens? And she's like, I think we should. It kind of came together really quickly, actually. And luckily we have our friend Josiah helping us because he's like the mastermind behind all of this. Thank God. But it's just like one of those things where like, maybe we get to let people in a little bit behind, who Thea is behind Zelina and who Charlie is behind Dakota and, seeing where that goes because it's just like really just two kids. I feel like our inner child kind of comes out of it when we do this kind of stuff. So especially when we get to reminisce on like, things that we used to watch when we were kids, like Pokemon or like, Sailor Moon or like, Dragon Ball Z and just kind of like vibe out to that, like what games were we playing? Was it Resident Evil? Did it scare the crap out of you and why? Like that kind of fun stuff.
Your gaming preferences, I know you're a Street Fighter. We'll talk about that in a second. But what are some other games that you're into opposed to like what Dakota's into?
I don't know if there's like a whole lot of difference necessarily, but I know that for me, like I loved the Sims game. Like I was very, very addicted to the Sims game in the worst kind of ways. That's why I don't really play too much anymore, or else you won't really see me. Like I used to play all day and then all night and then go to school the next day, like just all the way through them.
I was the same way. I felt like there was a point in my life where I was more invested into my Sims life rather than my own life. Like it was more important for making sure that the bathroom was set up nicely for my Sim than it was for me. It was insane. Now I do want to talk about Street Fighter a little bit because a dream came true for you recently. You were in Street Fighter 6 as a commentator. That is incredible. Talk to me about that experience a little bit.
Oh my gosh. It came together actually because of when I did Vega for the first time for the Royal Rumble, like the first Rumble I was a part of. Capcom saw it and they loved it and they were just like, oh, this is so cool. I didn't know she was a fan. And then hearing me on commentary for some of Andrade's matches on Raw and stuff. Fast forward, they asked me if I wanted to, my friend Andrew specifically, he asked me if I wanted to be a part of it. And I thought he was kidding. I was like, that's kind of massive. And you're just like, kind of, it didn't compute. Like my brain just wasn't wrapping around what he was asking me. And then when everything became finalized and I got to see parts of the game and like what I would be doing, then going out to LA to actually get to, record my voice for it. I was like, wow, this is becoming more and more real. It's so crazy. But getting to know that team and everybody involved from the creators, like everybody who's involved in the game, they're so talented and such an amazing group of people. Like I'm so blessed to be a part of it. And then when I actually heard was that when I was in Japan and I got to see it for the first time, like in full, and hear my voice and get to play with everybody that was a part of, creating the game. I almost cried. I was like, this is like the craziest thing. I'm like getting to see and hear, myself. And obviously when it comes to gaming, I get a little bit feisty, a little aggressive sometimes. It's fine. So they did find some humor in that. So at least there's that.
That has to be like a dream come true moment. What other video game would you like to be included in or bring to life either on the big screen or as a series?
That's a really difficult question, but I mean, because I love a lot of different fighting games. I love, I've always loved Mortal Kombat and Tekken 2. And I think what's cool about the fighting game community is that I think we just kind of support all games. It's not even just like, oh, if you're one, that's all you can ever be. But also, like, I would love to be a part of something that has to do with like Naruto or Demon Slayer or something like that, because I'm such a big anime head that I'd love to kind of blend those two worlds. Because obviously I've played like Naruto Ninja Storm or, like stuff like that. So in some ways, I'd like to find a way to blend the anime gaming space there.
I have a question. So I got a PlayStation 5 like a year ago, right? I have 4 games for it. I have Last of Us, WWE 2K22, WWE 2K23, and Madden. I want to expand my gaming horizon. In your recommendation, Zelina, I'm an RPG guy. Like Final Fantasy VII is my jam. So in your recommendation, what are some games I should be seeking out?
I think as far as like, you have to try a bunch of different ones, right? So like For me, I would love if you can try. And listen, I am so bad at Fortnite, but it's so much fun. It's so much fun, especially when you get to play with your friends and just like start trolling people. It's just so fun. It's, like I love Fortnite. You get to play like Dead by Daylight is also a really fun game too. I love playing that. The Mortal Kombat one that I just got, the storyline was incredible. I'm really big on that. The Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight, like that whole series is amazing, and I think you'd really love that if you like Batman at all.
I love
So
Batman.
yes, it hooked me so much. So yeah, those are like the big ones that I'm into right now. But my husband's also really big on like DMZ. He's playing a lot of DMZ right now. So it's you kind of, and the Cyberpunk game obviously. So it's you kind of get to play a little like, I guess, story mixed with just like fun fighting at the same time, So that's really where I like to have a little bit of both whenever I'm gaming.
So I know you're a big anime head too. I love anime as well. Some of the things that I'm into is like Bleach. I also liked One Piece. Dragon Ball Z is a classic, obviously. But I have fallen off of the anime train a little bit. I mean, last like current show I watched was like Attack on Titan. I was waiting for that last season to drop, and it hadn't dropped yet. If you were to recommend some anime, which animes should one be watching?
It depends. If you're trying to get into something new and trying to see if anime is more for you, I like to go with Demon Slayer or Death Note, because Death Note is only like 37 episodes, but they do so much within those 37 episodes that it's just crazy and it gets you hooked pretty quickly. Demon Slayer, I love the illustration. I love the story development. Just the characters are amazing. So, because like Rengoku I'm looking at like different Rengoku statues in my room right now. But so definitely those two. But if you're looking for something that's going to hook you for a while, obviously One Piece and Bleach is one of those. But Naruto, I love. Inuyasha is another one that I really love too. So definitely, I'd say one of those four if you're going to go with something. I actually just started My Hero. I know that it's like, oh my God, I can't believe you even watched that. But Ricochet had been trying to get me to watch it for the longest time. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. He's like, well, if you love Naruto, you're going to love it. So I watched the first episode and I was like, okay, I could see why you said that.
Somebody also told me I should get into My Hero also because I love the X-Men, and they were like, oh, this is going to be right up your alley. So I just started watching it too, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty legit.
Yeah.
Now, question about anime. One Piece just did their live action Netflix show. Have you watched it? What are your opinions on it if you have?
My husband and I are watching it currently, and we both really like it. And he's more into like the Castlevania. He likes like Vampire Hunter D is like his favorite of all time. So he likes the older stuff, and Ninja Scroll, that kind of stuff. But so when we got to watch the live action of One Piece, he was like, this is actually really fun. And now it's making me question, like, do I want to watch the anime too? So it's because there's so many episodes, obviously. I know everybody's excuse is like, it's so many, but it's definitely something that we kind of like sinked our teeth into, and now we can't stop watching it.
Same. I was told that One Piece show is tells the story tighter than it does the anime. So it's better just to start with the show than rather watch the anime. And that's exactly what I did. And as soon as I watched it, I was all in. Like, it's just such a fun show to watch visually too. Now,
absolutely.
I was at WrestleMania in SoFi, and I'm not going to lie, I was jealous that I didn't get to go to WrestleMania Backlash in Puerto Rico because that crowd was fire. Like, that crowd was complete fire. Talk to me about the moment of challenging for the SmackDown Women's Championship in front of that crowd.
And it's funny, I was streaming yesterday, and I literally watched those moments with my chat, and I was like, man, even now watching it, I still had like a lump in my throat. My chest was still kind of pounding a little bit. I was like, wow, that was, besides my wedding day, that was the best moment of my life. Like, it was, there was nothing that compares to that. Like, it was literally as if I had the support of an army. Like, it's crazy to feel that kind of support from your island, from your people, from, family, friends, but everything all at the same time. I also had, the rest of the LWO there. I was like, wow, hold on. So, because I still feel like this is like a weird dream that I had, because it was like that Friday Night SmackDown, I get to main event SmackDown with my hero, Rey Mysterio. Then later that night, we got matching tattoos. And then I got to, challenge for the SmackDown Women's Championship in Puerto Rico at Backlash. Like, it still doesn't like come out right, because I'm like, in what way did this, happen? But it's one of the oh my God, seriously, the best moment of my life.
I feel that moment for you. It was like Milo was watching my little girl, and we kind of got emotional watching you get emotional because we saw how much that moment meant to you. But it was such a cool crowd. Like that crowd, my God, I felt the energy coming through my TV screen. It was insane.
Second to none. That is the best crowd I've ever been in front of.
Yeah, it was fun. Like next time they do a show in Puerto Rico, I got to find my way out there. Now I want to talk about the LWO for a second because look, you're in a faction with Rey Mysterio. I can't imagine like somebody sitting down and telling the young you, hey, someday you're going to be a wrestler and you're going to be in a faction with probably the greatest pound for pound wrestler ever to live. Like, what is that like for you?
I don't know, because it's still like crazy to think that that's a legitimate thing. And Ray had sent me the pictures from that past, no, was it SmackDown? No, I don't think it was SmackDown. It was Fastlane. He sent me pictures from Fastlane, like these really good pictures. And he's like, oh, these are really great if you wanted to post them. I don't know if you wanted them or not, but I thought these pictures are really awesome. And I'm looking at them and I'm looking at me standing next to him. And I'm like, what is life, bro? And I texted him that. I was like, dude, I was like, I know that this seems like it's an everyday thing and whatever. I was like, but this is still one of the coolest things. It is so amazing to actually get to be a part of this with you, to learn from you, to even be talking to you right now is crazy to me. So, and he's so humble and so sweet. He's like, oh, Z, like, we got this. Like, let's keep going. You know, like, this is just the beginning. Like, and he's so positive. He's so like encouraging all the time. Like I said this before, but they say like not to meet your heroes, you know, because you don't want to be disappointed. But I would meet Rey Mysterio every single day because he's the like best human ever.
Yeah, I mean, he's just such a legend. We were just watching his match at Fastlane, and we were just like, man, like, how is this dude still so good for doing this for such a long time and still doing like the style that he does? It's incredible to me. Like that dude is ageless.
Yeah, I mean, it's the legend that is Rey Mysterio. You know, it's mysterious in its own ways too.
Now, Carlito just made his return to WWE as a member of the LWO. What are you excited to see with this run with Carlito in the WWE?
I want to do a double spit and apple thing. I think that'd be kind of fun. But I'd also know that I'd trip out and I'd be like, oh, the pressure, it's going to be like a little blip. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to do it right. But no, I think it's cool because I feel like, you know, it's been so long that it's going to give like us a nice, like refreshing feel. It's going to give something the crowd to feel refreshed about. It's always cool when you add somebody to the mix, but somebody as amazing and talented as Carlito, it's just so it's fun because now you never know like where we're going to take it. I have no idea what's going to happen on Friday, for instance, no clue, but it's exciting for me to go into work and go, okay, what are we going to do now? Like, what's going to be the next step for us? You know? So it's just more exciting than anything else. And I think the crowd is ready for it. And my God, I haven't seen this kind of support in a while because it just feels like, and I said this actually on the bump, but I feel like we have so many people's like hopes and dreams, especially, you know, Latinos. I feel like we have so many of their hopes and dreams on our shoulders and we carry it so proudly that, you know, we're ready to take this to the next level.
You talked about things being refreshing and fresh for WWE, and seeing you in a title match to me was extremely refreshing. And I love seeing it. Honestly, I feel like you were cheated out of that moment because you didn't win the title, but when Royal Rumble's right around the corner, I feel like this is your time now to win this at main event WrestleMania in Philly. Talk to me. What would it mean to you to win the Royal Rumble and then go on to main event in Philly, either against Rhea or Io or whoever's the champion at the time?
I think that would just be the cherry on top of something so perfect for me because I mentioned this before, but I've been a manager for someone for a good 5 years in WWE. So this is like a whole new Zelina that they're seeing as far as me being a wrestler, but also me being a babyface, because that did not come easy at all. I will say that did not come very easy or I guess natural for me because they've always said I've been a natural heel, but I think it's just allowing people to get to know the real me and just letting that kind of come out to play for a bit. And it's funny because Rhea did this interview where she said for Backlash, seeing how emotional I got, she knew how much it meant to me because she's like, I'm quoting her, she said that I'm usually an angry little gremlin all the time. So to see that kind of emotion coming, she's like, 'cause she does not cry. She does not show any kind of emotion. So to have that come out of me, it clearly was just something so powerful that I couldn't even hold back. So again, once I realized that I can let people in, I feel like the rest just kind of followed naturally. So by that moment that I had at Backlash, then my God, putting my body on the line and winning the bank and just doing what I felt I needed to do, to now where we can go in the Royal Rumble to WrestleMania. Like, I think this is just going up and up. And I think that this is something that I feel like I'm proving to the fans, I'm proving to the office, I'm also proving to myself that this is the version of myself that I'm supposed to be at. This is where I'm supposed to be, and holding singles gold is exactly where Zelina Vega needs to be now in her career.
I agree. We're getting to Zelina Vega final form, and I'm here for it. I think it's great. Look, Zelina, thank you so much for your time. I love the work you've been doing. I've loved all the stuff you've been doing. Queen Zelina, all this stuff. It's amazing. So I just want to thank you for your time. The podcast is amazing. Thank you for the video game recommendations, because I'm absolutely going to check them out. And I'd love to talk to you at some point again in the future.
I'm down with that. I'm super down with that.
Awesome. Thank you, Zelina. I appreciate your time. Amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate you, man.